Good morning, everyone. Hopefully, everyone are safe, including our friends and families, everyone we know. So, our topic for today, it will be a brief 30-minute background, okay, to discuss about expanded and final withholding tax. Okay, by the way, my name is Frank Batalon. Okay, I'm the managing partner of Bar & Associates, one of the accounting firms here in Pampanga, and then also the CFO of Pabacus Incorporated. It's a business solutions technology company. You can visit our website at www.hooray.ph. And then I'm also the internal audit head of Luentai, based in Clark. It's a manufacturing company doing garments. Okay. We will discuss key topics regarding the nature of the withholding taxes. Okay, what are the types of withholding taxes? And then the tax compliance, what we need to comply on the tax returns, on the attachments that we need to include on the returns and the payments, what are the deadlines. And then we also include the topic here para sa current events natin with all the extended deadlines of the BIR. Okay. So we'll just have an overview of the mostly tax returns that we file, including the income tax, VAT, percentage tax, the expanded withholding tax, and then the compensation withholding taxes. Okay, first, let's go straight to the nature of withholding taxes. Okay, so consequently, withholding taxes or withholding tax is not actually a tax itself. It's only a method of collecting the income tax. So what do you mean by that? So the payee, okay, the company who remits taxes to the BIR through withholding taxes, these are the taxes that are not due from them. Okay, these are actually the taxes of other entities that they withheld. Okay, it might be from a supplier, from the payments that they made. So instead of paying in full to the suppliers, they withheld a portion of it, probably 1%, 2%, 5%, anything that will comply on the requirements of the BIR. And we will discuss later on what are the percentage that are required. Just an overview, okay, on the taxes that we need to withhold and remit to the BIR. So what are the types of withholding taxes? So we have here the final withholding tax, okay. The nature of it is the full payment of income tax due, okay. We say it, we put it as a final withholding tax because the entities wherein we withheld the amount doesn't have to report, okay, the withholding tax amount that we already paid in full, okay. So the liability here is final, and there's no further obligation to file an ITR or any additional tax, okay. So it's the responsibility of the withholding agent to pay the full tax extent on that transaction, okay. And then another type of withholding tax is the creditable or expanded withholding tax. So estimated tax due withheld at source upon payment, and then the tax due is credited against the final tax liability determined upon filing the return of the another entity, okay, which is the payee, okay. It's creditable because the amount withheld, okay, by the withholding agent is not in full. You will only use the amount that was withheld, okay, by the withholding agent as a credit to your tax payment. Kasi since kinuha na in advance nung nung customer, okay, yung amount na pambabayad natin ng tax, pwede natin gamitin yon as credit when we file our own return. Okay, so just take note the difference of final and creditable, for final, the whole amount tax due in the transaction is already withheld by the withholding agent. Okay, no further liability for the supplier. Okay, to report the amount due. And then for the creditable naman, it's only partial. Okay, partial withholding for the part of the withholding agent. Okay, we'll have some examples later on to clearly distinguish the difference of these two types. So examples for the final withholding tax, we have interest income from bank deposits. So yung mga savings natin, okay, even how small they are, the interest, natatax pa rin yun. Okay, particularly here in the Philippines, we have 20% final income tax on that. You can see, mostly sa mga FS natin, when they present the interest income, that is already net of the withholding tax of 20%. Okay? Kasi yung 20%, winidhold na sa atin ng bank automatically. Kaya sa atin, hindi na natin kailangang i-report yun for the customers of the banks. Okay? So we only report the net of what was left from the withholding tax. Okay? That the banks already deducted from our interest. Prizes and winnings, fringe benefits, subject to fringe benefits tax. Okay? All of this, yung full amount ng tax nila, kinukuha na agad sa atin ng mga customers. Okay? And then sample of expanded withholding tax, you have the compensation income, professional fee, and contractors withholding tax. So for this one, okay, like for professional fee, mostly we have here 5% or 10%. Okay, depends on the category where the suppliers are falling. So ito, partial lang yung withholding tax na kinukuha natin. Okay, so only 5 or 10%. This is not the full tax of our supplier. Kasi usually for the supplier side, ang tax talaga nila nasa 30% if corporation. And then for individual, nandyan yung regular tax natin, which is based on the table, tabular. Okay? So we only withhold around 5% or 10%. Okay? And then we give a certificate to them so that they can use it when they pay their own taxes. What's the significance of withholding tax? Okay, why do the government do this? Kasi if you can see, withholding tax is additional burden for the companies because as we've mentioned, it's not even their own taxes. It's the taxes of other companies. Okay, so it's additional responsibility. But if you look at the numbers here, yung left side, ito yung mga corporate income tax. Okay, ito yung mga diretsong binabayad ng mga kumpanya papunta sa BIR. So this is 302 billion. Okay, 302 billion 984 million pesos. Yun yung diretsong corporate tax na binabayad. If you look at the right side, okay, these are the withholding taxes, 289 billion. So if you look at the pie, parang 50-50 na siya eh. Ganun kalaki yung contribution ng mga withholding taxes. Okay? And then yung mga withholding taxes, mas maaga pa silang nababayad. Okay? Kasi yung mga income tax, even the corporate income tax, quarterly lang yan nagbabayad yung mga kumpanya or the entities. Okay? Unlike for withholding taxes, meron pang monthly payment. So if you look at the significance of it, actually mas malaki yung relevance ng withholding taxes because of the timeliness ng collection. Okay? Kasi even before in 2018, nung lumabas yung bagong mga taxes requirements, yung train, nagkaroon ng confusion. They thought withholding taxes is they will just have to pay it quarterly. But the BIR said no, we need it also on a monthly basis because it's very important for the cash flow, okay, of the BIR and of our country itself. So what are the rules on subjecting the expense to withholding tax? So actually, withholding tax is very important for corporations and individuals doing business because it is one of the main requirements so that an expense can be used as deduction for the computation of income tax if the expense is required to be withheld. Because if you did not withheld, okay, a tax on a transaction wherein you are required to do so, it cannot be used as a deduction, okay, on the computation of your taxable income. And napakalaking impact nun for the computation of income tax. Let's just say for the corporation, which is you have 30% income tax rate. So 30% kagad, okay, ang mawawala sa'yo. Okay? Let's just say parang you take your chance, hindi ka nag-withhold, and then ginamit mo yung expense pa rin for the computation of the taxable income. Well, you can do that, but there's a risk. Kasi kapag nakita ni BIR yan, so again, madi-disallow yung 30%, and then you'll have a surcharge of 25%. Okay, at a minimum. Kung maging fraud pa yan, pwede maging 50%. And then after that, you also have the interest. So currently, nasa 12% per annum yun. Okay? So, it is very important to understand what are the requirements for the withholding taxes and what are the expenses that need to be withheld, okay, to comply with the requirements. Okay, so here, for the requirements for deductibility, nabanggit natin kapag nahuli ka ng BIR, hindi mo withhold na kailangan pala mag-withhold ka. Okay, and then ginamit mo pa rin sila for deduction sa yung taxable income. So at the time of the audit, as long as you paid, okay, the withholding taxes that you failed to pay, okay, now you can use that expense for the deduction, okay, for your taxable income. Kasi before nagka-changes dati yan, originally, that's also the same process. But during the time of Commissioner Kiminares, pinalitan niya yan. Kapag hindi ka nagbayad ng withholding tax, kahit mahuli ka sa audit, kahit bayaran mo pa yung withholding tax, hindi mo na magagamit yung expense for the deduction on your taxable income. But it was changed, okay, during the current administration, binalik na nila yung ruling na, okay, you failed to pay the withholding tax, and then nahuli kayo ng BIR, you can pay the withholding tax during the time of investigation, and then pwede mo nang gamitin, okay, yung expenses mo to compute for the taxable income. But still, you have the penalties, okay, you have the surcharge, you have the interest that you need to catch up, and you need to pay for those still. Okay. So who are required to withhold? So first are the juridical persons, whether engaged or not engaged in business. So when we say juridical person, okay, these are entities that were incorporated through law. Andiyan ang corporation, partnership, okay, other than individuals. So these entities, corporations, partnership, whether they are engaged or not engaged in business, they are required to withhold as long as they fall under certain categories, okay, which we will discuss later. And then for an individual, all payments made in connection with trade or business. Okay, remember for individual, yung i-withhold lang natin, okay, yung mga related lang for trade and business. So yung mga sole proprietor na merong mga registered business, okay, with the BIR kapag meron kang COR. If you have a personal expense, you don't have to withhold certain items, okay? Let's have an example. For a certain contractor kasi, we need to withhold 5%, let's say 2% or 5%. So 2%, halimbawa, nagpagawa ka ng bahay for personal use. Okay, you don't need to withhold taxes kahit sinabi natin kapag contractors kailangan wini-withhold ng 2%. Because you're an individual and it's for personal use. So unless that nagpagawa ka ng isang building and then gagamitin mo yung building na yun for business, okay, so that time, kailangan mong mag-withhold sa contractor mo. Okay, so that will be the time. And then for number 3, for GOCCs. So government offices, including government-owned and controlled corporations, these are also required to withhold. Okay? Actually, mas mahigpit sa kanila for government. If you have any transactions with the government, automatic lahat ng mga payments nila sa inyo, i-withhold nila. So if you have the certain 1%, 2% for services and goods, automatic withholding. For VAT, kung vatable ka, automatic i-withhold din nila yung VAT na 5%. And then if hindi naman, if you are percentage, mag-withhold din sila. Okay? So that's how strict for the government if you have transactions with them. Automatic ang withholding nila. And then all individuals, juridical persons, and political parties on campaign expenditures and or purchase of goods and services intended as campaign contributions. Okay, for politicians, when they receive yung mga campaign contributions, okay, these are actually valid expenses on the part of the contributor. So even the companies, kasi we can see naman during elections, di ba, large companies, they are giving campaign donations to the politicians. This can be used as valid expense, okay, as long as you report it on and you declare it on the requirements. Kasi medyo mahigpit dyan dahil minomonitor yan, not just the BIR, even the COMELEC. Okay, kasi we know naman there are certain limits on those items, so we need to ensure that everything are monitored. So who are exempt naman from withholding taxes? Okay, baka meron kayong mga katransact na mga ganito and then suddenly you are requiring them to withhold. So, or you are withholding, okay, your payments from them. So you need to take note of this. So national governments and its instrumentalities except government-owned and controlled corporations because GOCC are required to be withheld, right? So yung mga national government lang. So yung mga under ng mga department natin, yung under sa mga cabinet, okay? So nandiyan mga DTI, DOF, this government. In the first place, kaya sila exempt from withholding because they are exempt from income tax itself. Okay. Actually, all of the items here, either they are exempt from income tax or they are under a special income tax regime. General professional partnership. So yung mga GPPs, mga partnership na nagpa-practice ng profession, like accounting firms, law firms, okay, if they are GPPs, they are exempted from withholding tax. So when you pay to them, you need to pay in full. You don't need to withhold 2% or 5%. And then joint ventures or consortium, subject to certain conditions. And then persons exempt from income tax under special or general laws like the HLURB and the HUDCC. Registered corporations engaged in social housing. And then we have the BOA, PESA, and SMI enterprises. These are the corporations registered sa mga special economic zones. Okay. Why are they exempt from withholding? Because their income tax is not a normal 30%. They are taxed at 5%, okay, gross income tax. So they have a different regime. Okay. So you just have to remember for these items, hindi sila nawi-withhold because they are exempt from income tax or they have a special income tax regime. Okay. So RR 11-2018, all of the recent amendments for withholding tax are all in this revenue regulations. You can visit the BIR website and look at the RR 11-2018. Nandun yung lahat ng recent revisions natin, including the income tax. It was released for the train law. Okay. So top withholding agents. So top withholding agents are very important topic when we talk about expanded withholding tax. Because in the first place, top withholding taxes, okay, if you are categorized on this, you are mandated, okay, to help the government to do withholding from all of your transactions, okay? So what are the classifications of top withholding taxes? Top withholding agents. First, you have the large taxpayers, okay? Top 20,000 private corporations, and top 5,000 individuals. And then recently, a few years ago, it was added a TAM. So it's for medium taxpayers, or called the Taxpayer Account Management Program. So yung top withholding agents, okay, ngayon ang ginagawa ng BIR, they update it on their website. Okay? And then periodically, nagdadagdag sila dyan sa mga top withholding agents. So it's up to the companies, okay, to monitor that. Kasi baka mabigla kayo, hindi nyo alam, nandun na pala kayo sa listahan. Okay? So you need to check that frequently. Because it's very important kasi after you are listed on the top withholding agent list, the next month, kailangan nag-withhold na kayo in accordance dun sa top 20, dun sa top withholding agent requirement. Okay. Sige. Kasi for the top withholding agents, okay, you need to withhold 2% for services and 1% for goods. And actually, based on the tax requirement, this is for all transactions. Okay. Well, there are some exemptions in extent. Yung mga maliliit na transactions like less than 10,000 pesos, okay, or kung yung transaction mo is less than 6 transactions for a certain supplier in a year, okay, in a given year. So yun lang yung magiging exemption mo. Either the transaction is less than 10,000 pesos and your transaction is fewer than 6 transactions. Okay. Other than that, all your transactions to your suppliers should be withheld. Kung hindi, it won't be allowed for computation or for taxable income, and then meron pang mga penalties na kasama. Okay. So for the returns that are required to be filed, we have here the BIR Form 0619E and 0619F for the final withholding tax. So ito kailangan kong i-file every month, okay, 10th day after the following month. Okay. For the EFPS naman, yung mga EFPS companies na registered, they have until the 15th day. So depending na lang sa category nila. Nasa 11 to 15. So, kapag sa COR natin or Certificate of Registration, nakalagay ang withholding taxes, even if you do not have an amount to remit, okay, kahit zero yung due, you still need to file this return. Okay, ito kasi yung minsan or kadalasan nagiging misconception ng ibang mga accountants in terms of filing. Kala nila dahil wala kang kailangang amount na bayaran, you don't need to file the return. Actually, as long as nandyan yan sa COR natin, sa BIR Form 2303, we need to periodically remit, okay, every deadline or file the tax return kahit wala pa yung tax due. Okay, for the quarterly naman, we have the 1601 EQ, okay, and then 1601 FQ naman for the final. For the annual returns naman, okay, we have the 1604E. Ito naman, isa-summarize lang natin lahat ng final natin for the year. And then 1604CF for the compensation, okay, which is due naman for January 31. Although for 2020, these are extended. So penalty, okay, as I mentioned, kapag hindi ka nag-file, kahit na wala kang tax due na babayaran, you have a penalty of 1,000 for every return. Okay? And then, an aggregate amount of not to exceed to 25,000 para naman dun sa mga attachments. So, violation of submission requirements should be a ground for mandatory audit also. So, hindi lang yung penalty on that specific return yung magiging problem mo. Okay? Even the mandatory audit, actually, it's a bigger problem because you might be exposed, okay, on other taxes kapag na-review ng BIR. Okay? So, we'll show here also the extended deadline for the tax due. Okay, the BIR initially released RR 10-2020. Okay, and then nung nagkaroon ng extension yung ECQ, nag-release ulit ng updates on the deadline ng BIR, which is RR 11-2020. So recently, the BIR just announced that they won't be extending any deadlines. Okay, kahit na nagkaroon pa ng MECQ with the majority parts of Luzon. Okay, so we need to comply with these deadlines. For income tax, so for the annual income tax of individual and corporations, the original payment date of tax due is supposedly on April 15. However, okay, we have an extended deadline na, which will be due on June 14. So malapit na to. Okay, kasi it's not just filing the annual income tax. Siyempre, kailangan nandyan na rin yung mga audited FS natin. And then, the tax due should be final. Okay? Kasi mahirap mag-adjust ng annual income tax due. Kung sobra yung binayaran mo, actually, the only way is to have a refund or a TCC. Hindi mo yan pwedeng basta-basta na lang i-roll forward next year. Okay? Kaya as much as possible, we need to finalize the financials when we file and pay for the annual income tax. So for the annual ITR attachments, which are the AFS and the SOUT, kung meron kang mga gagamitin na withholding taxes, you have until June 30. Okay? Usually it's a 15-day extension if you file electronically. Okay? Let's say sa EFPS, nagbayad ka na ng June 14. Yung FS mo, okay, yung attachments, yung filed ITR, yung mga SMR, Statement of Management Responsibility and all, you can submit it to the BIR up to June 30 pa. Okay? For quarterly income tax naman, okay, for corporations or for non-individuals, supposedly ending due date on May 30, extended until June 29. For quarterly income tax for individuals, which is due on May 15, now the due date is on June 14. For the VAT and percentage taxes, yung quarterly VAT na ending March 31, 2020, if you are a company with ending December 31, if your Q1 is March 31, the original date was April 25, the extended due date is on June 9. So this already includes yung attachment natin, which is the SLSP. And then for the monthly VAT, okay, for the month of April, supposedly noong May 20, now it is extended until June 19. Okay, the same with quarterly percentage tax, supposedly April 25, June 9 na sila. Okay, for the monthly VAT naman na May, walang extension yon. So it will probably be the same again. So June 20 na siya, yung deadline niya. Okay, wala nang announcement para sa mga extension for tax returns for the month of May. For the compensation withholding taxes, ito yung mga annual requirements natin noong 2019, which are due on March 31, they are extended on May 30. Okay, actually malapit na to. So you have the annual compensation withholding tax, and then the annual information, which include the employees 2316. So yung mga hindi pa nakakapag-file, they have until May 30 to file. And then we have the compensation withholding tax. For the month of March, the original deadline was April 10. So the extended deadline is until June 9. Okay. Same also with the month of April. So parehas ng June 9 yan. Okay. So yung May natin, okay, for the month of May, so we are expecting it also to pay on June 10 naman. So isang araw lang yung nagiging pagitan. Tatlong withholding taxes for compensation na magkakasabay-sabay. So for expanded naman, okay, the annual for 2019, which is due on March 31, extended until May 30. While the quarterly expanded naman for Q1 March 31, original date supposedly April 30, it's extended until June 14, okay? Including yung attachment na QAP. For the monthly expanded withholding tax naman under 0619E, for the month of April, so extended due date natin is June 9. While yung for the month of May, again, wala na extension yon. So that will be due on June 10. Okay. For the EFPS companies, registered companies, you can, again, you also have the same deadline, pero which is extended. Alam naman natin, original deadline date, plus 1 day, okay, up to 5 days, depending on your category. So those are the due dates that were mentioned by BIR as the final already. So they don't have any intention of extending it because they really need the fund right now. Okay. So I think that ends our 30-minute session. Hopefully you have some updates and was able to have a general knowledge of the requirements of the withholding taxes. Thank you.